Hello, guys. So, this is the second episode of Look Beyond Oil podcast, and I have with me here a great, powerful man who has served the cause of environmental advocacy, climate justice advocacy over the years. His name is Mr. Dick. Mr. Dick was a personal assistant to Ken Saro-Wiwa, and he was at the Look Beyond Oil conference. And why his presence here is very pivotal is because apart from the conversations around transitioning to a non-oil economy, or better still, positioning for a cleaner kind of energy, right? It's good for us to highlight the challenges that we have in retrospect to the work that has been done over the years. And our center point is the Niger Delta. Of course, let me not just go too much into too much details. I'll ask the question, but first of all, sir, just want you to introduce yourself a little bit to us, your audience, so we get to know you better.
Well, my name is Dick Nwiku.
Okay, can you come closer to
I'm
the
a
mic?
native of Car community,
Okay.
Kana local government of River State.
Mhm.
If I mention Kana and then mention River State,
Mm.
quite a lot of persons will not get to know that I'm talking about the area called Ogoni.
Mm.
And Ogoni, as we have 6 kingdoms
Mm.
and 2 special territories. Ogoni is, we have Babe, we have Kenkana, we have Nyonkana, we have Gokana, we have Tai, Element, and we have 2 special units we call Bori territory, national territory, and Bango is special area.
Mm.
No, so if defining the area called Ogoni, from the political outlook of the 4 local governments and then the traditional aspect. So that's where I come from.
You have been part of the struggle, the Niger Delta struggle, the struggle for climate justice. And the foundation of the struggle started, and I used to say that we can't talk about climate justice now without talking about the work of Mosob, his movement for the survival of Ogoni people, of which you were an integral part of. In the conversation around Look Beyond Oil, we explored two aspects of the entire effects of oil pollution. And the first one was the environmental dimension. The second one was the socio-cultural dimension.
Okay.
A lot of what we were at the conference, a lot of what we are faced in Niger Delta, apart from the environmental pollution, is that oil has divided people, right?
Correct.
And in fact, it has taken a lot of lives. We can't begin to go into deep details and explore, but of course, myself, I've been involved in social work in a lot of communities, and I've seen the damage that's done to our our culture as Niger Delta, our unity. Everybody, in fact, you can have a neighbor who is claiming not to be your neighbor because of oil well. But you have been part of the Mosob struggle. Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other people were killed because of the struggle. And you work closely with Ken Saro-Wiwa. Can you just briefly tell us about how the struggle started, what informed the struggle, how did it come about?
Well, Ogoni as a distinct ethnic nationality has been part of the place called Nigeria. We call it Eastern or Southern, as the case may be, whatever name it is called, until 1958, when oil was discovered in the area, particularly at Bomo oil field. And then after then, our people thought that a blessing has come with the oil coming into the place and having experienced what happened at Oloibiri in Bayelsa State.
Yeah.
Now, our people jumped at it, were happy, and thought that the period of suffering was gone. But right before our eyes, we saw from 1958 that this oil was exported. And then, come to think about it, before even the oil, we had some things that were keeping the economy of the country running. We had cocoa, we had groundnut, we had palm oil, we had all sort of things. And at that time, consideration that was given to this product that was making the country running, was divided in such a way and manner that respected the people. Was respected the people. But as soon as oil was discovered,
Crude oil.
and yes, crude oil was exploited and then made part of the economy of the country, everything changed. That derivation principle that have been part of the game, well, anymore. Nobody talked about the groundnut pyramid again. Nobody talked about cocoa. Nobody talked about some other things that were mainstay of the country. When having discovered this in 1958, having seen the wickedness of the Nigerian state, our people began to think, what's really going on? When these products were on, things were changing. Schools were being built, hospitals and everything in this part by reason of the derivation principle. But as soon as this oil revenue came in, nobody turned to our side. So what's going on?
Even when the exploration was being done.
Yes, what's going on? Why the difference? Are we different people in this world? What has brought about this? So between 1958, you also consider that at the time we're talking about education of the people was not so much in place. And so our traditional rulers and some leaders were manipulated, as it were. They didn't know how to negotiate. They didn't know how to put anything in place. So gradually between 1958 to 1990, the people said, come on, do we remain in this water and so we continue to punish us the way it's going? So the people came together and took thought. What do we do? By reason of that gathering brought about in 1990 what we call the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people, MOSO. Before MOSO, we had a group of think tank we call the Cargote. Cargote is acronym for Kana, Gokana, and Tai. The element people at the time of formation of this were indecisive. They were neither here nor there. If not, they would have been part of it. But leaders came together to talk. What do we do? And then, in a way of collapsing and making an inclusive governance of the people, obeyed and accepted MOSOP. When MOSOP came in, the elders of Ogoni were called the Kagotes. Freely as it were, accepted and in a way gave some degree of responsibility and right to the younger generations to join them in prosecuting the struggle. So in 1990, the struggle came up. And when it came up, is maybe at the formative stage, nothing happened. All of a sudden, in 1993, between 1990, when the Ogoni Bill of Rights, because I didn't mention that.
Ogoni Bill of Rights.
Yes, the Ogoni Bill of Rights, which copy I have here with me, was launched. Now, it was as if it was a child's play. Where are these people coming from? How many are they? What is their strength? No, we'll crush them. So nothing will happen. So by the time this Ogoni Bill of Rights was launched, and with an appeal to the international community, and then the focus of the world came upon the Ogoni people, the devastation and everything that the people have suffered. Now by this, the federal government, Shell, became conscious of what was going on. If we allow the people the way and manner they are going, other people will join and will not have a place. So rather than listening to the people, rather than considering the Ogoni Bill of Rights, which was submitted to Babangida, who was head of state at the time, instead of them to think about it, what they did was to come up with obnoxious laws and everything to cow the people. And so no, not minding the population, not minding our size. We're talking about rights, we're talking about privilege. as God has even given to us. We didn't negotiate, we didn't bargain with God to have this crude oil we are talking about. The Niger Delta people did not at any time discuss with God to place us where we are. So why would this turn out to be a curse rather than a blessing? So by the time the people rose up in 1993, rather having failed that negotiation side of it, we saw a combination of force with the military government then, and then Shell. And in a manner, they came upon the people very heavily. And when they came, it was destruction of lives, destruction of properties and all that. And then, as soon as that was discovered, our people said, no, Shell, you can't be part of this game. You've exploited us. Rather than thanking us, rather than appreciating what you have done, the damage you've caused the people, what you've done is to take side with the federal government of Nigeria to undo us. If that is the case, in 1993, on January 4th, the Ogoni people said no to Shell.
Specifically Shell.
Specifically Shell. We didn't have any war with the federal government.
Yeah.
Not one neighbor of the Ogoni people were harassed or molested. Not one. Not one was harassed, molested. But what we came to see was manipulated wars. Manipulated wars. Our neighbors around us were instigated against us. And on August 4th, 1993, after that declaration of Shell as persona non grata in Ogoni, a whole lot of backlash came upon against the people. And my community
backlash was coming from who exactly? From the federal government.
From the federal government, and you know the finance, the financial aspect of it. Yes.
Regime. So it was
not. It started with Babangida.
Okay.
It started with Babangida. Shortly after that, Abacha. And if I come to talk about Abacha, see how wicked this world will be. Abacha was friend to Ken Saro-Wiwa.
Wow.
Because he served in Rivers State as brigade commander then. Yes, as brigade commander at the time. He had interface with leaders at the time and all that. And so when he took over government, our people had a sigh of relief. But oh, an angel has come in our direction. But that was the worst. That was the worst. So a whole lot of game intrigues came into play. My community was the first to go down. Car community in Precious, that's my community. Wow. That's where I come from. This instigated war with military might sacked my community on the 4th and 5th of August.
What was
1993?
This is interesting. So what was the basis of the military attack on the community?
The basic wasn't far-fetched. The people have reason to say no to certain obnoxious laws, certain unfair practices to the people, and because we've reason to say no, and they know the implication of what the people started, that it was going to go all around the place. And if it does, then definitely Nigeria was in problem. Okay? The governance of the place, the multinational oil companies and all that, were in trouble. Because they will borrow a leaf from Ogoni and it will spread all over. So, straight slope, the slope as it were, was to
silence,
come down heavily on the people
and intimidate them.
Yes, and so my community, like I said, Car became the first to be sacked completely, followed by other communities, and then that was not there. That came from the Andoni axis, very close to my place, and beyond Andoni, it went to Port Harcourt here. In December of the same year, December, when people would say we are celebrating and all that, from the Okrika axis, another war, and on the 4th of April, the next year, another war from the Okrika axis.
So let's get this straight. This war was because of oil.
Yes.
However, did he present, because a lot of what we, from what I know, a lot of what the IOC does is that they manipulate, they cause internal conflict with a disguise of land issues.
That was exactly what happened.
Okay.
That was exactly what happened.
Okay.
Come to think about it, my brother.
So sorry, sir.
Before
they instigated themselves.
That is what I'm saying. Come to think about it. I can mention to you here on this interview that the place called Opobo, where the present governor of Rivers State comes from, first settled, the people of Opobo first settled in my own community. When they had issue, the leader, King Jaja of Opobo.
Yeah.
Now when they had when he ran into problem with the king of Boni, you know, he was a rebel.
Yeah.
Okay. So when he ran into problem with the king of Boni and was to be exterminated, was to be killed. Now he had his loyal chiefs with him, and then they pulled from Boni, and where they arrived was at Ka, my community. When people accepted them, they stayed. Okay. And I won't end without telling you that the people, the King Jaja and his team who came and stayed in my place, had their descendants, particularly the house of Ogolo. No, Opobo was founded in 1818. That's the year Opobo was founded. And Opobo would have not been there today, where the governor comes from, is what I'm talking about, would have not been there, except that a fisherman from a well in Kekana, okay, who has spotted the good place, told them at Ka, so see, I have found a place that will be good for you. And that's how they relocated from Ka to Opobo in 1818. We had no problem with the Andean people. We had no problem with the Opobo people. We had no problem with the Ndoki people. We had no problem with the Okirika people until 1993. When this instigated wars came against us. You know, so from then has been series of manipulations, series of political intrigues and all that, where it will be as bad as chiefs not listening to themselves, communities not respecting rights, the youth not behaving somehow, all that. We've been in these wars, we've been in this crisis from 1993 till date. So it has been that. And at a point, even when an appeal was made to the international community, we also thought that at a point they were to come to our aid, because it became so intense in 1993. If my memory will not fail me, now as soon as 1993 came through, the first Ogoni Day was launched, and it was a shocking news to the world that a people uncivilized as they thought can come together, agree, and take their destiny in their hands. And then over 200,000 people, over 200,000 people in Ogoni, from Eleme to Kono, from Ka to Okwale, will come together on foot. On foot, without vehicle, to congregate at Bori. And then that Ogoni Day came up. But before the Ogoni Day, I will mention something. Ogoni Day, January 4th, was on a Monday. On Sunday, a Thanksgiving service was held at Yege community, the hometown of our very respected, the first graduate in Ogoni. It's recently we'll get to know that he was the second, because the first was the father, the very father of the present Mosa president. That was the first graduate Ogoni ever produced. You know, so but we respect the person of Paul Daku Birabi as the first person. And that's why that secondary school at Bori is named after him. Now, so on the 3rd of January, before the Ogoni Day of January 4th, now A Thanksgiving service was held at St. Peter's, Yele. And when we left the church, a procession have to go to the tomb of Birabi to say, our Father, we have risen. We have risen. And if we have risen, we also need the spirit of the dead, our fathers, to go with us in this struggle. I was present at my age, not knowing that I would become one day the personal assistant to Ken, but I was present at that meeting to see that a live branch of a tree on the tomb fell down. Life, I say life, not dry. Life. Nobody, no knife touched it. Fell.
So, sir, let's understand this because it's very interesting. So the elders gathered together.
Yes.
So what was the purpose for that gathering?
Now, like I tell you, Thanksgiving service for the struggle. Like that's why I mentioned it was on a Sunday.
Okay.
The 3rd of January.
Okay.
Now, so the procession from the church, okay, leaders of the place. You know, you cannot isolate. Even if we are Christians, we have. Definitely. We know where we come from.
Yeah.
We know where we come from. Definitely. So the people left the church and went to say, our fathers, our deities,
okay,
we are ready to fight too.
Yeah.
We don't have knife, we don't have guns, so we are not educated, we are not as strong as the people we are confronting. So come and fight for us. Fight with us. So we left. And then the Ogoni Day came up on the 4th of January, where I told you over 200,000. And not one person was harassed.
But you mentioned, I don't want you to lose that thought. They did a kind of ritual after the Thanksgiving where they went to pay homage to the forefathers. And what happened there?
Well, if you call it ritual, because that's by way of delegating our faith and all that, they will call it ritual. Yeah. But our people went to their elders, ancestors, to say, Papa, we know that you are dead.
Yes.
But we also know by religion that you are alive.
Yeah.
So don't leave us alone. So actually, a bottle of schnapps was brought, and then I still remember vividly that the person who libated at the tomb of Abirabi that day was the late Kobani. The late Kobani was the person who libated. The reason why he has to libate is that he's from Gokana.
Okay.
And our tradition respects that right, that if you are from that a particular place, when you want to libate, for the gods of that place to accept you, you pull your shoes. Okay, it is only when you are not from the place that you wear shoes, because the land will not know you. So Edward Kobani libated. I spoke to the gods, and that was how that left. And then beginning the struggle with all one
fell down.
Yes, a live branch of a tree fell down. Yeah, but which is not quite a serious issue. I've mentioned what transpired, and that's a way of consulting the gods. But maybe whatever happened, as a young man, I have to think about it. Maybe we'll draw the analogy.
But what that shows is that, for me, what that shows is, because I'm very particular about how a move started, because that determines the spirit of, and that is the problem we have in our generation, is because if you don't know the history, how do you know where you're coming from and where you're going to?
Yeah, it's interesting that I have to bring that aspect in our discourse. The reason is, shortly afterwards, I told you a number of wars came against the people. My brother Toby, if it was at this age and time of smartphones and all that, and it was video, I will shock you that something terrible happened. That you're going to people without sophisticated weapons and all, you will see young people jump into the river after armed trained soldiers. After armed trained soldiers. And overpowered them. That came from community to community of the coastal areas of my place. Between August 4th, I told you, to September, I think September 17th or 18th of that same year. Quite a number of wars. Before that of the Okirika people in December, which I told you, and then that of Ndoki, that's the Oyibo side, that came up all that. So, of all these wars that were almost on daily basis, look at the number of persons running helter-skelter and all that. But by the grace of God, we were able to survive it. Nigeria couldn't run us over as they thought. The military couldn't take us over. You know, and I'm not sure whether these neighbors are between then and now learned lessons.
Yeah,
that's one thing I have not known, because terrible things happened then that would have told us, was spoken to us, to be careful of who God is.
Yeah,
because the God factor is not always played.
Yeah,
in whatever man do.
Yeah.
Take for instance what's happening in Riverside. I don't want to talk about it now.
Yes.
But it's one thing that is very closer to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The God factor in whatever struggle of man. We didn't take that serious. So, after all that, the struggle continued. And then a whole lot of things came up. We were thinking, oh, the international community, like I said before, will come to our aid and then all that. Of course, at a point, because I will not end this interview without telling you the benefit of the struggle.
Yeah,
even if we've not had so much of what we expected. Today, I can tell you, my brother, today, that close to 3,000 Ogonis are in the United States of America, in Canada and everywhere. It has never happened before. Over that,
this came from, I know that at some point, because especially after the killing of Ken Saro-Wiwa,
it was his killing that triggered this condemnation. And then because we have become endangered species as well, now the world came to our rescue, and then people were moved out.
You were working with Ken Saro-Wiwa at that point. How did you manage to escape? Was your life under threat?
It's interesting to know that the man sitting before you would have lost my life as early as then, because I suffered 5 horrible detentions.
Wow.
5 separate detentions from one point to the other. In fact, the last one, the person who saved me was Ledumite at Borikam. It was in that detention I got to know. I'm not one who is given to wine and all this. So I wouldn't know the name. But it was in that detention I got to know that there is a drink called Brigadier. And I didn't know it was the favorite of Major Paul Kunchimo, the man who prized himself that he has 105 ways of killing the good people, and he's been trained soldier and all. He boasted over all this. So it was then I knew the day he wanted to bring me out from the cell and shoot me.
Wow.
And then Ledum pleaded with him and ran here, he let me go. So I saw all this.
So they were just bringing people and shooting them, and
it was terrible, my brother. It was horrible. And that is why I'm worried. I'm worried today. The type of leadership we have in Ogoni. That will not remember that we passed through all this. That people sacrifice their lives.
That's the painful part, and that's why we at Lincgreen we're having this conversation.
It pains me.
When you see the politics.
What gives you joy? That you are enjoying on the blood of others. And then you forget about it and you think it doesn't matter. And it matters. It matters.
The exploration is still going on.
It matters. Let me shock you. On 30th of October 1995, when that ruling was given against Ken before his execution, he made a statement. And he said that Shell was not the only people on trial. The federal government was not the only people in trial. That it was as well the Ogoni people. Not one Ogoni man has thought about this even until now.
Well, I heard that.
Yes, why did Ken make this statement that also on trial are the Ogoni people? Why did he not separate the Ogoni people from the federal government? from Shell that was at war against us. Nobody has thought about it. And that's why they're making the mistakes they're making. And that is why they will continue to be consumed by what they think they know and what they don't know. Because the spiritual implication of this libation I told you about is still talking till date. We have asked ourselves, why these leaders, as short as possible, went the way they went and died the manner they died? Or is it because we've not taken note of all this that makes us think that all is well with the people, that you can move in to get money from anyone and then we destroy the struggle of the people? It's not possible. It's not possible. I've not seen God in that light. That's why until we have known ourselves now, until the new president of Mosul, Engineer Engineer Olu Andawa Ogosu, came on board, and at a point we got to get in contact, I have refused to be part of the struggle because I don't want to die in the crossfire. I witnessed what happened. So no amount of money will make me sour my conscience in doing stupid things that will betray the trust of the people. I won't do that. Not even politics, not position, because I saw it as a young man growing up. I saw it. If I didn't know about it, it's a different thing. But I saw it, and that's why I can get this narrative without consulting books, without consulting authorities. I can just run it, bit and bit by bit. I saw it. I witnessed it. But our people are not conscious about that today. If you think about an ethnic group that will have young people insulting their elders on radios, on television, and come to Ogoni. And it worries me whether whether they have that education, they are told about the implication of what they are doing. Because I'm afraid the number of deaths that will come into Ogoni, not by gun, not through shell, but by our acts and in our actions and inactions, is something else. On January 4th, at that event, the hands of Ken Saro-Wiwa were raised up to God during libation. Let's ask, are the hands brought down by these same leaders, both to God and to man? Because another libation was made on January 4th. And let me shock you that Kobani, who made the first libation at Yege on January 4th, January 3rd, made a very terrible statement that is consuming people even to today. But the remaining of that drink, he broke on the stone there and made a pronouncement that anybody, any Ogoni person who derails the struggle, that bottle should go after him. Wow. This was a profound, a terrible statement that people have not taken note of till today. And that is why people have not also asked, why did these leaders die the way they died? It is only the knowledge of what you know that will save you of certain situations. I can be poor. I can be called names. But I know where I'm coming from. I know the experiences I went through. I know what I had. I know what I saw. So they are part of me. So how much would they buy me? To do what? At my age? At my age? I had the opportunity of being with Ken there and had others who derailed the struggle and went to the part of Shell. And as his personal assistant, that I was to be lobbied to leak some documents and all that. Oh, I would have been, maybe I would have been flown to London or wherever. But I said no. As a young man growing up then, I saw the value of life, not wealth. I refused it. So who turns me today to do what? It's not possible. It's not possible. So what? Not dwelling so much on what happened. I really want to think, like I told you, apart from the infrastructure or whatever we think will change in place, God has also blessed us as a people, because that awareness came and it has not happened. And I tell you today, those who know, those who appreciate the struggle will still say of a truth, we benefited. Today we have what we call the hyper.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have the Niger Delta, even if we are not benefiting from it.
Yes.
Even if the same leaders of Nigeria, the military as they were, they are taking over the whole. At least these are things that came from the struggle.
So my problem now, or our challenge now, is that no generation can function without the other. This whole advocacy, activism, climate justice, environmental justice has to be a transgenerational thing.
Yeah.
And what we have noticed now in the struggle is that there seems to be
a disconnect.
And I've been talking to engineer about it. I said, look, the Mossop movement, if you go online, you see that after Ken Saro-Wiwa, nobody really knows anything about Mossop again so much. And the reason is because we don't even know the other leaders that came after. Of course, we know that there was after Ken Saro-Wiwa died, a lot of people went into hiding. But Mossop is still active till today. Mossop is still a strong voice till today. What happened before this new administration has come to try to change a lot of things? What happened in that space? Why did what's one major reason why it seemed like, because, and I'm saying this because the Mossop movement is what sparked up a lot of environmental movements in Nigeria, even if they don't come out to say it. I know that, for example, the PIA, Petroleum Industry Act, is because of the Mossop struggle. The local content policy is because of in fact, Mossop, the struggle of Mossop, and many others.
You can go on,
and many others.
That's what I said. Yes, even if we've suffered.
Yes,
even if we've experienced what we've gone through and all that. Yeah, there are also things to talk about and to appreciate God.
Awareness,
but what we're talking about is like you're saying, it's sad.
Yes. Why
it's sad that disconnect came in.
Yes.
Barrister Ledu Mite, who took over the struggle after the death of Ken, held sway as president of Mossop for 17 years. 17 good years. And within the period we expected, he'll become the deputy president of Mossop, the number 2 person to Ken. He was to, in a way, bring life to the struggle after the death of Ken. But for this long time, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And make people question what's really going on. Let them where you are a barrister at law. You understand what it means. And you took up the party. Why is it taking you so long to put the people together and ensure that the struggle is prosecuted the way and manner it should be? 17 good years left. The person who took over from him, Labour Saro-Wiwa, took another 6 years. And on it has been like that. Therefore, making an opening to jobbers who are not themselves activists, who understand the struggle, who understood why Mossop was formed, to come into play. And so it became business. Business. This oil company will come, you see them, they'll go. This just to
collect their and it's the story of every Niger Delta.
So it has become
the template. So
it has become an stomach infrastructure thing rather than struggle of a people.
And this is where this is the problem with Niger Delta. I've been in this fight for at least 4 years, right, in Niger. No, of course, when I was part of this European Union MPP9 scheme. We were part of the consultants that developed Niger Delta master plan under Obasanjo. As a young boy, I was in IT for an NGO, so I was part of one of the greatest challenges I have with Niger Delta is stomach infrastructure. It seems like even people that I respected, that when you hear them talk, they're very passionate. By the time they just go to closed door meeting with share, when they come out, they start saying, "Don't worry, let's not." They start changing their mouths. What is your advice for? Because somebody asked me recently, Tara. She said, when she saw my post, that to me you are very passionate now. If somebody gives you 1 billion naira, are you sure you will continue this struggle? I thought about it too. It's now like, and that's why we don't even trust ourselves again. Like what is happening in Nigeria, nobody even trusts the Labour Congress again. Because it just seems like everybody's an activist if they settle the person. You know, so what is your advice to young people?
Yes, my brother told
How do we stay true?
Life is not all about money.
Mm.
It's not all about wealth. It's all about who you are, your integrity, what you stand for. After this life, we have another life to live.
Mm.
And as soon as you have this consciousness in you, you'll be guided in whatever you do. That's what has kept me.
Mm.
That's what, like I tell you, I may be the poorest in Ogoni, but I am happy with myself.
Mm.
That I will die a happy man.
Yeah.
And at least my children, not one will pee on my grave.
Yeah.
Not one. I should be happy. I should be proud about that.
Mm.
I am seated today telling you what I'm telling you because I was close to Ken. I was close with these leaders. But if I have derailed, I would have been dead.
Yes.
I won't know why, how we go and why and all that. So that's why I continue to appeal. Hey, my young people, be informed though, because it takes only a man who is informed not to be deformed.
True. Word.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
As soon as you are schooled concerning a thing, you will know how to navigate yourselves in whatever water of life or river or whatever it comes through.
Yeah.
That's exactly one thing that is lacking
in
our young people. No, it's not all about that.
Yes.
It's not all about that. Who knew? We are all in the River State here. Who knew that the former governor of River State, if I digress a little bit,
yes, of course, it's fine.
If I digress a little bit, who knew that the former governor of River State, Doctor or Barrister, yes, Nwiku, we have quarrel with the boy he brought. Who knew? At the time he presented this young man, it was a courted bride.
Exactly.
He didn't know about his friends, those who suffered with him, those who were local government chairmen with him as of 1999. Was served, was worked with him. He dishonored and disrespected all of them, their views and all that, and picked this young man. Up to the time of election, you saw what happened. At Aba Road, it was blocked. Juju priests were brought in even to salvage the situation. But they didn't solve anything. Where are they today? Have they told us exactly why they are quarreling? Have they told us? Because it is only two of them that will tell us the real thing that is causing the problem. So, can we learn from this type of history, this type of lesson? Can we learn from it? That nothing lasts forever. Can we? So I'm not a man that is so happy with what's going on. We talk about Isaac Adakaboro. Why did he die at the time he died? Was he happy dying the time he died? Today we only celebrate his day, but he died. Who cares about his family? And every other thing that went on. So it was just, the man, don't mind, it was stupid.
So this is powerful. So you have said to us many things. You have said, and one of the striking things with everything you've said is not everything is about money, and then young people should be concerned about legacy. I think what I told some people, when people ask me, what is your passion? Why are you doing this? I've seen the devastating effect of climate change. Right. I when I went to Bios, I once saw a woman that lost her children from flooding, like they drowned right in their house, and she showed me pictures of it. And that formed an image in my head, and that is why since then I started saying that we need to be informed of the history of this struggle, because by the time a lot of advocates understand that this is not just about flying to America, representing Nigeria, or acting all schooled and posh, and then speaking big grammar without understanding that people have actually died for this cause.
Now you mentioned Bayelsa State.
Yeah.
Is it not? How do I put it? Is it not sad to think about or talk about what we're talking about?
Yeah.
That a son of Bayelsa State became the president of Nigeria and commander-in-chief and held sway for 6 years. What Awolowo prayed for one day took Jonathan 6 years and he couldn't turn things around. So what are we talking about?
It's just
Where is the place of patriotism in what we do and all that?
Yes.
Huh? So how many years that he was praying for to return back to the place that would have solved war?
Exactly.
In a situation where he knew that everybody was, all eyes were on him
had
and
the chance to
they
break through.
were gagging him and all that.
So, sir, I mean, so that we don't overstretch. So, what's your, from going back to look beyond oil, do you think, what is your position currently with everything you have said? What is your position about the oil struggle, oil pollution now in Niger Delta and Nigeria? Do you think we have made progress in holding oil companies accountable through the Petroleum Industry Act, the Local Content Policy Act? Do you think Niger Deltas have more? Do you think we have made progress in holding, especially ESG, which is the environmental sustainability and all that, with all the policies put in place to hold? We still, up to now, we still have oil. Do you think
which policy?
I mean,
which policy?
ESG.
Is it policy on paper?
Exactly.
Now that will not translate to whatever action. Now, who are those? Now, start by asking yourself, who are the people in power that's also running the shops in Nigeria? How patriotic are they? But that's where the problem comes from. It's not all about whatever framework that comes into play and all that. It's these people that continue to be the spoilers. People who can sell their brothers for peanuts. That's where we are. So until we address this issue and know where we are coming from, where we are and where we are going to, we won't have results. It's not all about paperwork and all that. It's not all about it. It has to do with the conscience of the people. Conscientizing ourselves and knowing that if we don't take action, definitely in less than no time we'll be gone. We are talking about this today because the oil is still flowing. The world is moving away from crude oil. Once it's off,
what will be the fate of
I am still thinking about what will come up that will cause this fight again and all that. Because of course it will rest. Everybody will rest in a way. But how do we rest? After putting in all these and then the struggle, the deaths and the devastation of the place and all that, and then we'll move from what is happening now? The Oyibo area, part of Ogoni, it's very rich in gas.
Part of Ogoni.
The name Oyibo is a Kana name, a Kana word. Oyibo. Now it's like we are befriending. That's the name of the place. We are friends.
Oh, you're from Oyibo.
We are friends. We are befriending. Oyibo. It's not Obibo because they corrupted. They wanted to corrupt the place and call it Oyibo. Sorry, Obibo. The name is Oyibo. That's the local government. And let me shock you. Why I am worried about what's going on in Ogoni. The local government called Oyibo. The headquarters was to be at Taba, the traditional headquarters of the Nwiku people. Game of interest came in, where the then commissioner for chieftaincy affairs, where Nwiku Sale, he hailed from Okwale. And because he was a commissioner, he wanted the headquarters of that LGA to be in his place, Okwale, rather than Tamba. Another two big fishes from Beri, Leton and Apeno, wanted to hijack it that if it is not at Beri, the local government should go. That was why we have that local government headquarters at Afam. If not, it was supposed to be at Tamba. Investigate what I'm telling you.
I think I'm getting it now.
You know? So the name of the place is Oyibo, not Obibo.
So, sir, before we enter into traditional this thing, let's just round up. Thank you so much for, I mean, it's been a very passionate and strong. We'll bring you back again. But I hope this, and I've been saying this before to all our viewers and everybody that has been part of this podcast, that one of our duties at Lincgreen is to tell the stories of, because I mean, a lot, they have said a lot. At least our viewers are able to understand where the struggle started from. right? A lot of people have laid down their lives. You too, your life was at risk. You said you escaped death 4 times.
Five separate detentions.
It's 5 separate detentions, and this is somebody that was part of the struggle. And these days, a lot of people don't even understand the struggle, and it is necessary. If you understand these things, we know that this is a serious issue because a lot of people died for this. And even up till today, people don't know the depth of this oil crisis. People don't know that people are still, the lifespan of Niger Deltans is shortened because of oil crisis. A lot of communities have polluted waters. A lot of communities is just a mess. And that is why we are crying, we're shouting, let's hold oil companies accountable.
Yeah.
Let's hold them accountable. Let us be bold enough. Like people like Ken Saro-Wiwa, people like I wonder if we can see people like that again, but bold enough to call them out and say this is wrong. Thank you so much. We see you next time.
Thank you so very much, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right.